This quote is what inspired me to start this journey. So I started messing around in Blender during the pandemic, and everything I know I've learned from YouTube videos, and this is the culmination of everything I've learned so far. The animation and modeling methods I use are not the best, but this is the most comfortable methods for me. And be warned, this video will be littered with awkward silences, and I do apologize about that. So before I can start animating, I'm going to need characters. So for the blocking stage, I'm using simple shapes, mostly subdivided cubes and cylinders, to get the silhouettes that I'm looking for. And I did several practice sessions modeling all the characters, and I made my own references from the previous practice sessions to help me with the blocking stage during the recording. The process for the other characters is pretty much the same, just using subdivided cubes, tracing the silhouettes of the references. So I did not include the footage for the high poly sculpts because it was quite bad, and there was a lot of trial and errors during the sculpting stage. So I'll try to include that in the next video. So for topology, I am using the Polybuild tool, which comes with a vanilla blender coupled with the mirror, subdiv and shrink wrap modifier, the usual tools that we use for retopology in Blender. Since I am not that good at retopology yet, so I'm still using references for retopology to get the correct loop placement, especially on the face and shoulders. There are some complicated loops in those areas, and is necessary to get the correct deformation during animations. Retopology is important for deformation during animation, but it is also very useful for making clothes and armors, and also it simplifies the process of UV unwrapping. So you have the correct loop placement for your seams. And for this project, I made the mistake of not having proper supporting edge loops on the finger joints, elbows, so the mesh did not deform properly when I bend the joints at an extreme angle. The most obvious ones are the finger bends. The mesh tends to collapse on itself when bent um, at a certain angle. And here are the final characters. So there are a lot of videos out there that uses paid assets, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I decided to stay away from paid assets because it kind of takes away from the theme of the video of me showing what I've learned so far. And I'm in the mindset of, if I can model and sculpt the characters, I can definitely model and sculpt the assets. So I use simple shapes for the assets, remeshed it to a lower voxel number and sculpted in the details. The process is not difficult, but it is a bit time consuming since I have to sculpt a few varieties for each assets so that it doesn't look too repetitive. And after all that hard work, the assets are barely visible in the scenes. But one upside to this is that I now have a collection of assets that I can use. So in the future, there will be a lot more addition to this library of assets. For the leaves, I used a cube and sculpted the leaf shape and details from top orthographic view, and then shrink wrapped the subdivided plane on top of the sculpted details. Then I baked and textured it in Substance Painter, and then ported it back to Blender, then used a single plane to match the UVs with the textures, so I can get a low poly leaf with all of the baked details, which greatly improves viewport performance and also render speed. For the scattering tool, I am using G-Scatter by Grasswald, which is a free add-on. It is easy to use and there's a lot of tutorial on YouTube on how to use it, so I highly recommend trying G-Scatter out for all your scattering needs. All of the assets from this project will be available on my Patreon for only $3. So if you want to support the channel and support what I do, you can visit my Patreon. Links will be down in the description of the video. So for the animation, I am using the pose to pose workflow, where I have my character go from pose 1 to pose 2 and then to pose 3. Then I add in the in-between poses to help guide the automatic interpolation. That is basically my workflow for this whole animation. And once I'm happy with the poses and the timing, I move to editing the curve. I still do not fully understand how to utilize the curves, but I mainly use it to show impact in the movement and to smoothen out the flow of the character's movements. Once all the main animation are done, I will start animating the secondary motions, things like the hair and the jacket on the character. So my major takeaway from this project is that reference is key in all of the methods and processes I use. So I did not record any pose reference or motion references for the animation that I want, and that is a huge time waster for me because I've had to redo the whole thing a few times. So the next project will be Christmas theme, and I'm afraid I do not have enough time to finish it before Christmas, but I will still be making a video on it when it's done, hopefully sometime in January. I hope you guys find this video informative, and since this is my first video on YouTube, so there's bound to be some awkwardness because I'm still trying to find my style, and the links to my social will be in the description. Do give me a follow if you want, and if you like the video, hit the like button and subscribe if you want to. So thank you guys, and see you on the next one.